Welcome everyone to the first ever edition of El JARIPEO, the best pregame show in the NFPL. My name's Jake, and I'm going to be taking you guys on a trip around the league, looking at standings, a predictions league with some of the fans, as well as top goals, players to look out for, and some exclusive interviews to get hyped up before the game. Just like in a JARIPEO in Central America, we're going to be partying here in the pregame show to get you guys hyped up to watch Grand Rapids Ole. Let's get started by looking around the league. So first things first, let's take a look at what the women's division looks like in the NFPL. This brand new division sees the Michigan Futsal Factory Academy in first place, firmly with 3 wins and not a single blemish on the record. They're coming off of a strong win against Columbus Futsal at home from last week and are hoping to bring that momentum into this week as we watch them in action tonight. A second place team is our very own Grand Rapids Ole. With only 2 games in the history book so far, we do see them with a loss to Michigan Futsal Factory, the undefeated league leaders, but a victory as well coming out of last week against Futsal Indy. We then see Columbus Futsal, who had a very tough task of starting their season on the road against league leaders Futsal Factory. They will be looking to bounce back later in the year as they have plenty of games lined up, only 1 game in action at 0-1. And finally, we have Futsal Indy, unfortunately, pretty stuck in last place at the moment. They are 0-3, but they've had a very, very difficult beginning to the season as they've seen Futsal Factory twice, as well as Grand Rapids Ole last week. Now let's take a look at the men's division. We'll start in the Midwest. We see FC Dryzub, current league leaders overall with 3 wins and no blemishes on the record. They have been on an absolute tear in their return to the NFPL this year. What a great re-debut for the Ukrainian side out of Chicago. Second place, we see Joy Athletic, last year's runners-up. They are 2-1 after losing to Dryzub this past week, but they also were shorthanded during that trip to Chicago and will be looking to make a strong finish to the season. There's plenty of time left. In third place is Cadence FC. A little bit of drama around this team right now as they've only played 1 game and seen 2 games postponed. No one is entirely sure what is going on with Cadence, but we hope to see those games rescheduled, and hopefully they can find a way to show up and show us what they're made of in this NFPL action. Currently, they are 0-1. And finally, is Futsal Indy. Unfortunately, their men's side is the same story as the women out of Indianapolis, as they are 0-3 in last place in the Midwest. But let's go to the division that holds a team that's near and dear to our hearts, Grand Rapids Ole. Grand Rapids leads the newly named Great Lakes Division at 2-0. They are defending their championship title with everything they've got, and they're going to have to continue that tonight. In second place, we see Columbus, fresh off of a win away at Futsal Factory last week. The men's side got revenge for the women and had a great result and are looking really strong this year. Third place, we see Michigan Futsal Factory. They have split a win and 2 losses to begin the season, and they're looking to gain that momentum back after that shocking loss at home last week. And finally, we see Jinga. Jinga is currently 0-2, and unfortunately, with a tough start to the season for them as well, with a rivalry game to begin the NFPL season, immediately followed up by a visit from Grand Rapids Ole. With those league standings in mind, let's take a look around the league on what fixtures we have here for Saturday. It starts off at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with our very own Grand Rapids Ole women looking to get their victory of revenge against Futsal Factory as they play host today in a reverse fixture that saw them only lose by a goal to start their season. Then, immediately afterwards, to round out NFPL's Games of the Week on YouTube, we will see the men take on each other from the same 2 clubs, Grand Rapids Ole taking on their in-state rivals of Ann Arbor's Futsal Factory. Then we go to Ohio, the battle for Ohio, the second leg of that rivalry. It is rivalry night here in the NFPL on Saturday. Columbus plays host to Jinga FC from Cincinnati. As Jinga travels up Route 71, they will be looking to get revenge on a comeback that came up just short as they hosted Columbus to start the season. But they have a very tough task as Columbus's building is a very difficult one to play in with intense fans and a just as intense team. When we look at the Midwest Division, we see a very controversial side currently in Cadence, set to play hosts against Futsal Indy. Everyone's got eyes on Cadence right now after they've postponed their last 2 games, but we hope to see them in action against Indy as both teams need their first victory of the season still in the Midwest. And most excitingly of all, outside of our very own Grand Rapids Ole, may be the Southwest Division making their debut tonight. Late entrance to the season this year, we see Brusa FC out of Arizona take on Colorado Futsal Academy at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Be sure to follow all these games on the NFPL's YouTube channel and don't miss any of the action so that you can then participate in our predictions league with other fans around the league and around the world as they try and guess the victors every week from all of our fixtures. Speaking of our predictions league, let's take a look at what the fans are predicting will be the winners as we look at the odds for tonight's games. Based on participants in the predictions league, Grand Rapids Ole are runaway winners with 100% confidence from the predictors as hosts against Futsal Factory. It looks like the people participating in the NFPL Predictions League presented by Futsal News cannot find a way that in their heads that Ole, as reigning champs, walk away without their home opener victory tonight. Looking at Columbus, the home team is favored again in 100% confidence in votes we've received so far. Columbus has received 100% of the votes from the fans coming out of a dominant victory away from home in Ann Arbor last week. They'll be looking to keep that momentum going and claim Ohio and claim their bragging rights over Jinga FC for the second year in a row. Then we look at the Cadence Indy game. Some surprising results from the fans, in my opinion, as we see 40% confidence in Cadence, a team that has postponed 2 of their 3 games so far this season. But some of the predictors feel there's not much to lose because they'll either show up and play hosts and be favorites or not show up and they're not out any points. Whereas Indy is still favored by 60% of the fans to win away from home against the Cadence side that has not seen much of the ball. What do you guys think is going to happen tonight in the Predictions League? Make sure you submit your predictions to us either through our Discord or find me on Twitter at FutsalJake to get involved in the Predictions League and join in on the fun for bragging rights at the end of the season. Now, enough of me babbling on. Let's get right into the action of Grand Rapids Ole with the top 5 goals from both the men's and women's division before we head into tonight. Starting with number 5, Chloe Colling versus Michigan Futsal Factory. Take a look at this set piece. Unbelievable eyesight here to find Chloe on the back door, making something out of nothing with a narrow shot. Let's look at it again. Beautiful pullback. Look at this toe poke. Nutmegs the keeper into the side netting. Absolutely gorgeous. Number 4, we're looking at Sammy Esquivel against Jinga FC in their last match away from home. Lito sets up Sammy, and it is top bins. A lot of passion at this point in the game. You see it with Sammy's reaction to the Jinga defender. Look at it again. Ka-ching! Right in that top corner. Absolutely gorgeous and couldn't have been placed any better. Number 3. Hey, we know you. It's Chloe again. She was the Goal of the Month nominee on this play. First of all, look at Maggie's exit out of trouble. Chloe finds her way down the line. Another shot into the side netting. Absolutely beautiful from Chloe and well-deserved as a December candidate for Goal of the Month. Look at this again. Sheds off one defender. Gets the shot past the second right as that leg's extending. Beautiful side netting. Number 2, Daniel De Leon. Take a look at yet another set piece from Grand Rapids. This was a running theme in this game against Jinga. Lots of goals off set pieces and whoop! Just a little back heel for the fans there. I hope you guys enjoy that. Take a look across the net. Doink! Yeah, goalkeeper's got nothing on that one. Absolutely gorgeous. What do we got next here? Of course, it's number 1, and it is Johan. We are back in Cincinnati against Jinga. Look at this service. One bounce. Bloop! Right over the top. I hope you guys brought the salsa because Johan has the chips. This was an absolutely amazing goal that closed out the first half of this game, and the momentum just kept on going. And how couldn't it with this absolutely beautiful one touch from Johan? Easy as you like. Look at the arc. Look at the placement. It doesn't get better. I hope those top 5 goals got you guys excited about tonight, as I am. I cannot wait to see more magic from the men and women of Grand Rapids. But first, let's get an exclusive interview with one of our favorite players and a little history on where he's at this season. I'm going to throw it over to the Director of Operations of Grand Rapids Ole, Juan Galindo, who got an exclusive interview with Cole Russell.
Thanks, Jake. Hey guys, Juan here. Today we have an interview with Cole Russell. We get into why he hasn't been playing lately and hopefully what's to come before the season ends. But before we get into that, if you have a favorite player on the Ole men's or women's team that you'd like to get interviewed here, please write in the comments below. And without further ado, here's the interview with number 8, Cole Russell.
What's good?
Number 8. I have one question to start with first, Cole. I hear you're injured.
I am.
Is this your leg?
That is an x-ray of my leg. Well, not anymore. Now it's got a nice titanium rod in it, and it looks more aligned, but that was the original picture, yes.
And what happened?
I was playing in a Rapid City FC home game, our home opener. 3 quarters in, minute 30 left. Some guy forgot how to slide tackle and went in and snapped my leg in two. All dangly, flung over.
And did it hurt? I've never broken anything, so.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt for about a minute and a half. And then the shock kind of came over and the adrenaline came through and I was good after that.
And you just, so how fast did the paramedic come, or like did they pull you off of the court or the field, or?
Listen, there was a nice little winter storm that happened the night of. And I was laying on that field for an hour before they showed up. So by the time they showed up, my leg's starting hurting again. So it was good for about 30 minutes.
And what they do, they did like a neck injury, they just held it together while they moved you, transitioned you, or?
First thing they did was put a little fentanyl in my system, and then just kind of braced it and put me on a stretcher, and then off to the hospital we went. They didn't realign it there. I had to wait until we got to the hospital to do that. And that was not fun.
Oh, I bet every bump on the way to the hospital hurt.
It was hurting. And it was cold. It was slow. It was a long ride.
So this is your second year?
Second year.
Second year as Ole. You were never ABK, correct?
I was never ABK. I trained as ABK for a summer, and then they changed to Ole.
Okay. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be a part of Ole?
Not gonna lie, I hated Ole. Hated him. I played growing up. I played against Ole. I played against Gio. Played against Fabian, and in outdoor and futsal. Hated him. It was always an intense game, and it was always a good game. But once, as I got older, Gio and I played on the youth futsal national team together.
Okay.
So I started to respect them.
And what year was that?
2015. Yeah, we went down to Costa Rica.
Okay.
Played there, and then when I moved out here, I just reached out to Fabian and was like, "Yo, we were enemies once.
So
let's be friends now."
What's the time expectancy for the return? I know for those who don't know, I see this guy almost every other week. As soon as he broke his leg, he was basically walking on it as soon as the surgery got done and over with.
Yeah.
And at practice the other day, he was carrying a chair across a court, a basketball-sized court. He was walking a chair across, so he's tough, physically and mentally. So what's the doctor's expectancy and what's your expectancy?
So the doctors told me in 3 months from the date of surgery, I should be 100%. But see, I go back and forth because...
What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know? Also, do they know in 3 months I'm going to be, I want to be playing at the same intensity as I was before? Do they think 3 months and I should be, able to go back to normal activities, or 3 months until I can go run and get stuck in challenges again? So, my goal is to be back before the end of the season. I'm shooting for mid-March because the season ends early April.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get back. Really hoping that. So I have a follow-up appointment February 1st, and I'm really hoping that they're saying that the bone is healing really quickly, it's doing really well, so that I can come back and at least start running by the end of February, so I can get my fitness back before I start jumping into training and stuff middle of March.
This next coming week, we have a game against your old club, Futsal Factory.
Yeah.
Michigan Futsal Factory Academy.
Yep.
A club out of Ann Arbor. What are you expecting from Ann Arbor? Them coming to us after a loss. This will be the last game we play against them this season. Obviously, no other team is coming to a different an opponent's home and expecting to lose.
Yeah.
So obviously they're coming in to win. But
Yeah.
what are you expecting? What do you think they have in their bag of tricks?
Yeah. So obviously, rich history between me and Futsal Factory. They were the club that I started playing futsal with back in 2015 with Ducks. And it was super. It's always fun to play against them, play with them, all that sort of thing. So I'm really excited. I know that they're going to come with a really good team. I think from this year versus last year, they've improved a lot. It looked like they found their rhythm. Like they frustrated us for a while in that game. I think even throughout the whole game, we were getting frustrated because they were defending. They looked really united.
Besides futsal and besides Ole, you have your own, you're a part of mental game coaching.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I am the director of coaching at a company called Athlete Mental Game Coaching, and we work with athletes on the mental game. So we think that 80% of athletics and sports as a whole is mental. So, for example, if you go to the gym and train every single day and don't work on the mental game, you're working 20%.
It's been great. It's been great knowing you.
Yeah.
Like we said, we've become a family. Is there athletic mental game coaching, Grand Rapids Ole, FFA, NFPL? Is there anything else that you wanted to plug or?
No, I think that's my life right now.
Thank you guys for watching. This is our first episode. This will like I said before. These will come out maybe 2 to 3 days before a game. You can catch a replay before the game, and be sure to watch. Come to a homeschool building if you're local, and if you're watching from nationally or not local, make sure you catch the live stream on the NFPL YouTube channel. Everything will be posted somewhere, or maybe in the description. And I've been Juan Galindo, Cole Russell, number 8, and this is Jake.
Thank you, Juan, for doing that interview with Cole. And Cole, thank you for your time, giving us a little sneak peek into what's going on in your life on and off the court. I know there's a lot going on, and we sure do appreciate you committing some time to us, the fans, to let us get a little better personal connection to you, and look forward to seeing your return to the court, hopefully sooner than later. But guys, as we get closer to kickoff, it's time to start thinking about the game. Let's look at some players to watch for Grand Rapids Ole. I'm starting with the women at number 1. It's got to be Chloe Colling. She's been an absolute offensive powerhouse so far this season. Her work rate has been unrivaled by any pivos, I believe, in the women's division. And she's going to be looking to put those fingerprints on the match again today. Please keep an eye out for her because you are going to be entertained with some beautiful back post finishes. Number 2 for the women, I would look out for Leslie Luna. Leslie is fresh off of a trip to Portugal with the USYF international roster. She was selected to represent the United States in a trip that represented us against the youth academies of Benfica, as well as Sporting, 2 of the largest futsal clubs in the world, both actually representing in the UEFA Futsal Champions League with their senior men's teams. So she traveled with the boys and girls of the United States and represented us there. She comes back with some international experience, and we cannot wait to see how it impacts her play here on the court back home. So we welcome you home, Leslie. I hope it was a successful trip, and we cannot wait to watch you play tonight against Futsal Factory. Now let's take a look at the 2 men to watch for in the 8 o'clock game. First, I want to start with the captain, Lito. Lito has been an absolute rock for this team for years. You can tell that he has strong leadership skills that impact everyone on the court. You see a difference in the way they play when he is present. You can hear him on the sidelines. He is a true leader. He leads from the front. He's a provider, and I cannot wait to see how he drives this team and leads them as their captain against Futsal Factory. Always rock solid performances, and not always things we see on the stat sheet that he deserves some credit for. Number 2 is Cesar. Cesar has been an absolute powerhouse against Futsal Factory. In last year's matchup, in his first ever appearance in the NFPL, he got a hat trick against the same team, Futsal Factory. So keep an eye on him tonight, as he's going to be looking to duplicate that performance and score some goals against the in-state rival. There you have it. Thank you for joining me on the first ever edition of El JARIPEO, the pre-game show of Grand Rapids Ole. You've seen what our favorite teams have accomplished so far this season. You know who to watch as we accomplish more, as we continue the season. Don't go anywhere, because after this commercial break, you're going to hear from everyone's favorite commentator, the man they couldn't pair with Ray Hudson because it was too much charm. It's going to be Rudy at the desk. Vamos Ole!